The Galactic Council had classified Earth as a minimal threat planet. Their assessment concluded that humans, while resourceful, lacked the physiological advantages of most spacefaring species. Humans had no natural armor, possessed mediocre strength compared to the burly Krell, and their reaction time was laughable compared to the lightning-fast Mentor. Even their technology seemed primitive. They still used projectile weapons while most species had moved to energy-based armaments centuries ago. Captain Drell of the Viridian Expeditionary Force stood at the observation deck, watching Earth grow larger in the view screen. His scaled skin glistened under the ship's lights as he flicked his tongue thoughtfully. "Prepare the landing party," he ordered. "Remember, these humans are docile unless provoked. Our mission is to establish first contact and begin negotiations for mining rights in their asteroid belt." The landing party touched down in a remote region of what humans called Montana. They had chosen this location specifically to avoid mass panic, intending to meet with a small group of human representatives first. What they hadn't expected was that their chosen landing site was near a Marine Corps training facility. Staff Sergeant Mike Reynolds had been enjoying his weekend fishing at the lake when the alien ship descended through the clouds. Unlike most civilians who might have panicked, 18 years in the court had taught him to stay calm in extraordinary situations. He observed from the tree line as 7 tall, reptilian beings emerged from their craft. The aliens set up some kind of perimeter with devices that hummed with energy. Mike noted their movements, disciplined but relaxed, like soldiers who didn't expect trouble. When one of the aliens began scanning in his direction, Mike decided that hiding was pointless. He stepped out with his hands raised. "Afternoon," he called out, keeping his voice steady. The aliens froze, then quickly gathered into a defensive formation. One stepped forward, wearing what appeared to be more elaborate armor than the others. "Human, I am Captain Drell of the Viridian Expeditionary Force. We come in peace to establish diplomatic relations." Mike raised an eyebrow. "You speak English?" "Universal translator," Drell explained, tapping a small device at his throat. "We've been studying your broadcasts for decades." "Well, I'm Staff Sergeant Mike Reynolds, United States Marine Corps. I guess I'm your welcoming committee," he said with a slight grin. "Mind if I ask why you're setting up a perimeter?" Drell made a gesture that might have been their equivalent of a shrug. "Standard procedure when visiting new worlds, though our intelligence suggests humans pose minimal threat." "Minimal threat?" Mike couldn't help but feel slightly offended. "Your species lacks natural defenses," another alien explained. "No claws, weak muscle density, fragile skin, and your weapons technology is rudimentary." Mike glanced at what appeared to be energy weapons holstered at their sides. "I see. Mind if I ask what kind of firepower you're packing there?" The aliens exchanged glances before Drell answered. "Pulse disruptors. Non-lethal by our standards, but powerful enough to incapacitate if necessary." "Impressive," Mike nodded. "We're still using projectile weapons mostly, though we've got some other tricks." As they talked, the alien security team continued setting up their perimeter. One device particularly caught Mike's attention, a spherical object being placed at regular intervals around the landing site. "What are those?" Mike asked, pointing. "Proximity sensors," Drell replied. "They detect movement within 20 meters." Mike chuckled. "Kinda reminds me of our grenades." The aliens paused. "Grenades?" "Yeah, you know, handheld explosives." Mike made a throwing motion with its hand. Pull the pin, throw, and boom, shrapnel everywhere. Can clear a room or take out a group of hostiles in seconds. The aliens stared at him in silence. "You willingly hold explosives in your hands?" one finally asked. "Sure," Mike shrugged. "Standard equipment. Most infantry carries several types: fragmentation, smoke, flashbang, thermite. I once saw a guy in Fallujah take out an enemy machine gun nest by cooking a grenade for 3 seconds before throwing it. Thing exploded midair right above them. Brave as hell, but effective." Captain Drell and his security team were now completely still, their earlier casualness evaporated. "You intentionally hold active explosives longer to reduce the time before detonation?" Drell asked slowly. "We call it cooking the grenade," Mike explained, not noticing their discomfort. "Risky move, But sometimes you need that perfect timing. Another alien stepped closer to Drell and whispered something. The captain's eyes widened. "And these grenades are standard issue?" Drell asked. "For combat operations, yeah. Then there's claymores, C4, thermite. We've got all kinds of ways to make things go boom." Mike smiled, reminiscing about demolition training. "I'm no expert, but every Marine knows the basics." Drell turned to his team and spoke rapidly in his native language. Mike couldn't understand the words, but the tone was unmistakable, urgent reassessment. When Drell turned back, his demeanor had changed. "Staff Sergeant Reynolds, it seems our intelligence on human military capabilities may have been incomplete. Perhaps we should speak with your military leadership directly." Mike nodded. "I'd be happy to make some calls, though fair warning, it might bring more Marines. With more grenades?" one of the aliens asked nervously. "Among other things," Mike replied casually. As Drell ordered his team to pack up their perimeter devices with newfound urgency, he made a mental note to update the Galactic Council's threat assessment of Earth. Any species that casually handled explosives and had normalized cooking bombs in their hands required significant reconsideration. Perhaps humans lacked claws and natural armor, but they had clearly evolved something far more dangerous, a unique comfort with implementing creative destruction.